Good afternoon. My name is Adriana Gallegos, and today I will be talking about my interview with Olanis Trasviña, who is an area manager in Amazon Fulfillment Center. So I chose Olanis Trasviña due to the fact that she was my area manager about a year ago while I was working at Amazon. She was a great impact on me because she made me feel important and heard. She made me feel accepted. I feel like I usually, with somebody up in management, you really don't feel like asking them questions or you kind of feel a little intimidated or shadowed down on, but Olanis made me feel really comfortable working there, especially such a big company with a lot of people. She made me feel like I could even talk to her even if it was just for a minute on anything, and it was just great to be led by her for that year that I worked there. Olanis works for Amazon, which is a retail and e-commerce, and she has been an area manager for the past 5 years. So while I was talking to Alanis on this interview, we talked about what she thought was one of her greatest career achievements. This is something that Olani stated during the interview. She stated that one of her proudest career achievements was leading a process improvement project during their quarter four peak season in 2022. They were constantly missing their hourly outbound shipping target by 8 to 10% due to the inefficient staging in the pack and shipping area. Um, Due to this, she partnered with a process assistant and three associates to redesign a staging layout and implemented a pilot process. This achievement really stood out to her because it showed that a real operational change can come within the team. It doesn't just have to be from higher ups, there's always going to be change, other ways to make things better, and this really helped them. Um, it showed improved performance. It boosted their morale and it showcased how a leader doesn't have to have all the answers. She just has to have the ability to listen, guide, and act on input. So with this grading, I gave Olanis a 44 out of 50 because throughout this achievement that she feels like it was something really great for her, she was able to provide leadership, give her feedback, hear feedback, which is very important, especially when you're a leader. You need to be able to hear your team because if you're just bossing, you know, your team might not listen to you, but you opening your ears and hearing that feedback, it really helped them kind of come into it as a team as once. So one of the challenges that Olanis encountered was with a process assistant on her team that had been adjusting scan times to improve metrics artificially. It was initially subtle, but it inflated performance numbers and it impacted the accuracy of the labor forecasting. So confronting the situation meant risking the trust and possibility, putting her position at risk. I gave her 44 out of 50 regarding this challenge. I feel like she took good care of the way she processed this situation. It's very tough, especially when something's going on in your own team. But I feel like Olanis, she knew it was something that was going to be awkward to talk to about one, and two, it was going to kind of probably cost attention personally and at work, but she was able to, take accountability. At the end of the day, it's her team. She needs to take accountability for it, but she was able to coach that process assistant, let them know, what they did wrong, how they can do it better, understand what was going on. Yes, it's a very high demanding job, but what's another way we can solve this problem? And that's what did. She took the time, to coach that process assistant, let her know, what we're going to go on from here, and it just made her seem like those, it made her show those integrity issues, because this is a very big integrity issue. It could have caused a lot of problems down the road, and it made Olanis pop out like, you know what? She's not going to cover for someone. She's going to, take the responsibility and make sure that this doesn't happen again. So with these power base and the impacts, we have expert power, referent power, and legitimate power. Olani shows expert power through problem solving and the system knowledge. She shows referent power by leading alongside the team and being trusted. And she shows legitimate power by using her position to coordinate across different departments. Olani's use of referent and expert power fosters trust and collaboration and enables her team to embrace change, solve problems, and enhance performance during high pressure operational challenges. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the mission, vision, strategies, and entrepreneurship mindsets. Processing an entrepreneurial mindset drives innovation, adaptability, and proactive problem solving, key traits for aligning with and advancing Amazon's mission of customers, obsession, and its vision of global convenience, its strategy of operational excellence, and continuous improvement. With this, I gave her 47 out of 50 for the visual. I feel like she is able to, she was able to lead a impactful pilot to make sure that work was getting done. She navigated those new systems, those new roles. She talked with HR, IT, peers. So I feel like she did really good with, future orientations, her persistence, her resilience, her flexibility. I feel like she knows what she has to do, who she needs to talk to. And, I feel like the goals and missions that Amazon has, she provides great adaptability and she has a great mindset to make sure that they achieve those visions and goals. So, Olanis Trasviña's leadership is best described by Servient leadership theory, which emphasizes prioritizing the needs of others and fostering personal growth and rebuilding and building community. Her approach focuses on empowering team members, active listening, and ethical decision making by supporting her associates and promoting innovation from the ground up. She creates a collaborative environment that drives both individual development and operational success. Olani Stresviña, she uses a lot of servant leadership styles. She prioritizes team empowerment, ethical behavior, and collaboration. J. Paul Raines embraced transformational leadership, driving large-scale changes and strategic innovation. Olani's strength lies in building trust and motivating frontline teams. Through her impact is localized. Raines' strength was visionary thinking and company-wide transformation, but he faced resistance from the legacy system. Both styles succeed in different scopes. Olanis excels in people-first leadership, while Raines thrived in reshaping business models through bold top-down initiatives. A successful leader should demonstrate empathy, adaptability, and integrity. Empathy fosters in team morals, enabling leaders to connect and respond to individuals' needs. Adaptability allows leaders to navigate change and remain effective in dynamic environment. Integrity builds credibility in ethical strength, essentials for long-term success. Conversely, leaders should avoid arrogance, which can erode trust and collaboration. These traits ensure leaders inspires guides and earns the respect necessary to lead effectively any organization. I chose to interview Alanis because her strong track record at Amazon and her hands-on leadership in a fast-paced, high-pressured environment. I selected J. Paul Raines for comparison due to his transformational impact on GameStop in the same industry to address less familiar concepts like healing or internal locus of contract control. I asked follow-up questions such as how do you support team members emotionally during tough times, or do you even feel in control of outcomes, even under pressure? This helped frame complex ideas in relatable terms. Through this process, I learned how leadership theory applies in real life scenarios. A challenge was translating academically concepts into natural conversations, which I overcame by rephrasing questions and using examples. The experience deepened my understanding of leadership practical impact. And I feel like not I worked there with her and I just never really saw that like backside of a leadership. I just knew this was my leader, this is who I had to listen to, but interviewing her and talking to her, it was just a really good way for it to open my eyes and know like how does she do this and how did you do that? How can I become a leader one day? I think our goal is to become a leader at some point, and I feel like this interview really opened my eyes to see how she does it. And even though she doesn't have all the answers, what does she do on a day-to-day basis? Thank you so much for attending my presentation today. Hope you have a wonderful day.